Y'all give me a second. We in. Let me check some. Okay. Just give me a second. Just a second, y'all. Come on, man. It's the part I hate right here. Y'all give me just a second. Just a second. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Just give me a second and I'll be ready to go. Let's see. Settings. Settings. Okay. Everyone. Done. Okay, so we good there. All right, here we go. Here we go. Without a shadow of a doubt, y'all know what time it is, man. It's time to go into the hottest virtual talk show in the country, the War Zone. I'm the 5-star general, and I want to welcome you to another show. Get a seatbelt. I got my co-host, Elvante Patton, the good doctor, Candace Matthews. Y'all know what it is, man. Welcome to the War Zone. Say you inside the War Zone, man. I want to welcome you to another show. Tonight our show is a little different. We've been dealing with this pandemic, and we've been bringing on different people. And I always wondered what it would be like to deal with a pandemic from a pro athlete standpoint. And you know, I can't imagine. I've never been a pro athlete. So tonight we got my good friend Spencer Johnson, retired NFL player from Buffalo Bills and Minnesota Vikings. And we got Tommy Hitman Hearns gonna call in. He's dealing with this pandemic on a personal level, so y'all can already imagine, what's going on with that. So I'm gonna turn it over to my man Elvante Patton as usual. Go on and crank it up, big dog.
All right, so check it out, America. We back at you again. This time we get to hit you from a different angle, as he stated. We get to talk to you.
I can't.
Can you hear me?
Elvante?
All right, so we get to talk to the American people from a different standpoint and a different angle due to the fact that all sports have been shut down, not just the NBA, not just the NFL or the NCAA tournament, but boxing, MMA, all that is done. So now American homes that some of the pastimes of people sitting back getting to watch sports to pass the time because we enjoy watching athletes do their thing on the field. But it's different when you are that athlete. And now that your world has been shut down and you're in isolation and you can't practice with your teammates and you're not really supposed to be close to anyone at this time. So for me, how are you dealing with the aspect of not being able to be a part of sports right now?
For me, I mean, even when I played, it was always good to be around again. First of all, thank y'all for having me on, man. I appreciate it. Monroe's a good friend of mine. But just from that aspect of no sports, I think everybody in America is feeling it the same way, whether you watch it or whether you're a part of it. It's such a big part of, get-togethers with friends and families and everything. And, just being a part of it and not having that ability to be around everybody and not being the ability to watch your favorite athletes, your favorite teams on TV. It's a big impact on everybody. So even with me having a little league organization out here in Texas and not being able to see the kids and get them together and interact with them on a face-to-face level, it affects everybody. So hopefully this thing will slow down here soon where we can get back and everybody can get back to watching their favorite teams and doing what they do.
So to me, being a college athlete, I ran track at Texas Southern, and a virus isn't something we worry about as athletes. You just fight
Right.
through it. We watch Michael Jordan have the flu game. You just fight through it as an athlete. So for this to shut down everything, it kind of hits home a little different as an athlete because viruses don't hold you down as an athlete, but it put a halt on America. So I see you mentioned that you coach Little League. How are your players adapting to this right now and not being able to do spring training? Because now you're in the spring and it's about time for spring training to crank up for little kids just as well as adult athletes.
Right. I mean, like you said, we're having little kids and being around those kids. Our teams are from 5 to 12 years old. So the more time that you're gonna have with those kids, the more you're able to teach them. So it's tough not being able to be around them. We're just trying to encourage everybody to, do what they're supposed to, stay away from people, keep working, sit-ups, push-ups, staying active, doing what they can and being safe while they're doing it. But it's tough when you're not being able to do that. And as a coach and as a player, you always want to be around your teammates and you want to be around the people that you coach. So, this time right here is tough for us not being able to be together. But right now, like you were talking about the virus, it's just more important for us to be safe. So we just encourage everybody to keep being active, do much as they can, and be safe while doing it.
So Monroe, I know that I could be wrong when I say this, but I believe you're a state champion football player from Yates, right? You won a state championship when you played for Yates, right?
Yeah, 1985.
So as a state champion, I know, like, what would this have done to you if you was on your way to a state championship game and you can no longer play? How would that have affected you back in the 80s? Because now we have teams in our area like Hightower that's getting ready to go play a basketball championship to bring home the championship, but can't do it. So how would you feel if you was on your way to that state championship that you won in 85 and couldn't play?
I'd probably be demoralized, but I tell you what, you brought up a good point about kids playing for state championships. So, I think that's a question we should save until tomorrow because I'm actually going to bring on Reuben Jones, who just signed with the University of North Texas, and he plays at Jackie A. Senior High School, who's in the middle of a state championship basketball run, and now it's on hold. You see what I'm saying? But for me, I would be demoralized. I mean, the only thing we knew as athletes back then was when you got sick, our coach used to tell us put some dirt on it.
Yeah.
Put some dirt on it and come on, let's go. So I probably would put some dirt on it. And literally we would do that. I'd rub some dirt on my leg and, hopefully the corona wouldn't affect me and just go on and go by my business. But I can't imagine, how an athlete feels and especially guys that perform at the highest levels, the NFL, the NBA, and different things, and then watching their cohorts. Some of them friends go through this stuff, man. Because some of these guys may be retired, but they at the same time they are still, connected to guys that are playing right now in different sports. So to watch some of these cats go down like Kevin Durant, not really knowing what's going to go on with this. I just think it would be demoralizing.
So, Candace, I'm not going to exempt you. I know you're the only woman on here, but you're going to have to get some of this too. I know you have a child. Let's just say she's playing volleyball. I don't know if she plays volleyball for real or not. But see, that's perfect. See, you know how God just worked things in just perfect, right?
So the dance team too.
So can you guys do me a favor real quick?
Yeah.
Because I know my man's is out dealing with the pandemic on a personal level. I want to bring him on, we're gonna hold him as long as we don't need to hold him. 8-time world boxing champion, Tommy the Hitman Hearns. He couldn't appear on the show, but he called in. How you doing, champ?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Say, man, we really appreciate you taking the time out to come on our show and talk to the good people, man.
Well, right now, passed away in 56. When we lost Roger, they wasn't going it's a shame, man.
Yeah, and I know you got some good words of encouragement for all the people out there that's been following you for years. I mean, I've been following you forever, man. That fight you had with Hagler, I watched that on YouTube like every other day.
It's a 3-round war there. Best 3 rounds of boxing history. Never be forgotten.
No doubt, no doubt.
I think we set a record with that fight that night in Las Vegas.
Well, I want to ask you a question, and I'll open it up for my co-host to ask you a couple of questions. Without going into detail, I know that this pandemic has affected you on a personal level. How are you dealing with that?
Well, man, life goes on. It's just like getting in the ring. 4 corners, you got 4 corners of the world. Soft, east, and west. So we gotta do what we gotta do. Keep our heads up. I just tell people just to hang in there, man. If the president's trying to do whatever he's trying to do to get the money for people to help us out with, because if they let the economy go down, we're gonna have a war here, man. People gonna be doing all kind of crazy things. You can't have it.
Elvante, you got a question? You got a question for the champ, Elvante?
I do. So, of course, I went and looked up all about you, and I noticed that you pretty much carried every championship belt there was to carry back in those times of the apex of boxing, I would call it, because that's when people really started paying attention to boxing. And I noticed before then it was the Olympics that everybody wanted to make it to. You wanted to make it to the Olympics. So now that the Olympics has been pretty much postponed to 2021, how do you believe that would affect boxing as a whole?
Well, I think, those kids work real hard to get in that position.
Monroe, are you there? We can't hear anything. If Monroe, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Okay, now you can hear me. We got to make sure we're muting our mics when we're not talking. Dr. Matthews, you got a question for the champ?
First off, I would like to say sorry for your loss. I really hate, that this has happened to you. We've always followed you ever since I was a little kid, my dad and everybody. And I know normally when you hear things like this, you normally don't see where it hits celebrities the way how it's hitting them at this time. So what is it that you're doing as far as are you going to receive therapy behind this because of the loss of your loved one? Like, what is it that you're doing to get through this?
Well, I'm just staying in the house right now, staying away from people. It's hard to do that, but at this point in time in life, that's what we all have to do. Make the world a better place, and they're telling everybody to stay home. So, you should listen. I think people should listen to what they're saying because nobody ever expected this. So, evidently, is really changing our world. It's changing people's thoughts. So, it's changing our lives. It's making people look at people different now. You got people walking around with masks. Whoever would thought that in the United States of America.
Right.
Well, champ, we're not gonna hold you. I appreciate you taking the time out to come on. And you right, that was probably the greatest 3 rounds of boxing. And if y'all ain't saw it, man, go to YouTube and look it up, man. I'm looking at it that last night. And I'm talking about they don't get on like that no more, man. They don't get on like that. I mean, it's totally different. So
the 80s was the days.
And here's one last question for you. And I kind of know what it's gonna be. Who is the best fighter that you've ever faced?
The best fighter I ever faced? Got to be Sugar Ray Leonard.
Wow.
That's about a try.
Wow.
You got to say Sugar because he went there and beat Hagley, even though it was well, how can I say a split decision? Come on, I mean Ray Leonard. Back in them days, Ray Leonard was the man. I did what all I can do for the city of Detroit. I had them all on my back, but we fell short.
Well, I tell you, man, them were some of the best days for me in boxing. I grew up watching you guys, the Ray Leonards, the Haglers, and especially you, man. I mean, you were a little bit, slimmer than them, but you gave them the business on many nights. You gave them the business, brother. So thank you so much.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Before you leave, can I ask you a question? Who you think was the best fighter out?
I think that the best one that I saw, the best fighter I thought you faced was Marvin Hagler. That was a war, man. That was a war. I take nothing away from Sugar Ray, but that was a war there.
No, I thought the Sugar Ray Leonard 147, we both was killers at that time. And, that's what everybody was looking for. That was the biggest fight everybody was looking for back in the day, 147, Sugar Ray Leonard. Versus Thomas Hearns, Motor City Cobra, baby.
Well, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you calling in, and we're going to pray for you, and you're going to make it through all this.
All right, thank you, guys, and God bless you, too.
All right, thank you, brother. If y'all just tuned in, that was 8-time world boxing champion Tommy Hearns. He called in. He's dealing with the pandemic on the highest level. But sitting on the show tonight, we got, and I wanted a wife perspective. We got my good friend Spencer Johnson that played for the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. Spencer ain't nothing but an old country boy, man. Country boy did good, played the game the way it was supposed to be played, and went to the highest level, and went to the University of Auburn. Let's get that out there. And
roll Tide roll.
Well, they got rolled this year too. Anyway, but the thing is now he's retired, and he is, I think he found his second calling. He runs a great youth football and cheer program out in Fort Bend. Tell them what the name of your program is, Vince.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Name of it is the Fort Bend Seahawks.
Fort Bend
Seahawks. Out here in Fresno, Texas.
Okay, hold on a second.
Oh, yeah.
We getting a lot of feedback.
It's probably your live that's doing it.
Sound like an alarm going off. All right. Yeah, he him and the wife, and they partners in crime in youth sports, man. Monique and Spence, they run the Fort Bend Seahawks, and it's a top-notch organization. I mean, I've never seen a youth program. It's only two that I've seen be able to run the way that Spence run his, and that's Spence running the Seahawks, and that's Kevin Walker over there with the Southside Cowboys. And I'm talking about they run this program and train these kids like they're pro athletes. And a lot of people think that if you live in Fort Bend, that these kids they come from rich families. They got a lot of money. That's not true. Even in Fort Bend, they got the same type of kid that they got in Studewood, that they got in Third Ward. I mean, these are poor children that just want to play the game of football. So how has your transition been from retired pro athlete to football president of a youth football organization? Okay. Unmute. He has to unmute. I can't. It's not allowing me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. As I was saying, the transition was. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, we got you. I think he's freezing up. So, Dr. Matthews or Elvante, have you guys been around youth sports?
So, yes, I have. But before we go on, you have a faithful person that watches all your lives all the time. And I think we should wish her happy birthday.
Who's that?
Brenda Sanders is her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Brenda Limbrick Sanders.
So before we move on, I believe it was only right that we wish one of your biggest fans and people that pay attention to you most a happy birthday. So happy birthday, and I will let you continue.
Okay, go ahead, Stress.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. Like I was saying, man, the transition, man, was it was pretty easy for me. Being around the game of football my whole life, and just the things I've learned, the people I've learned from, the players I played with, and just being able to take those things I've learned and transition it with the kids and teaching them the right way to play the game. It was a time that there was a war on youth football, so I really took it personally. When teaching the kids the right way, showing them it's not just about football, it's about education. It's about learning about being successful human beings. And so, we use the football as a platform to teach the kids about financial literacy and things that they're going to need to be successful young men and women. So it was a great transition for me, man. I have a lot of support from a lot of guys I played with in doing so. My son played for me, and it was just a great opportunity to show these kids a little bit about life and teaching the game. I love football. I love teaching it. I love watching them play. My wife has been great support with me, man, and we've done an excellent job at giving everybody an opportunity to play for us. Whether you got the money or you don't, we give you opportunities to do things, we fundraise, we get people in to support us financially, allow kids to play. And, that's what it's all about. It's not about us lining our pockets. We don't need the money. We just love the opportunity to do the things that we've done, man. And it's been a great ride so far.
Well, tell us about, I don't think the good doctor and Elvante know about the camp, the free camp that you do every year.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have the NFL players come in and work with these kids. Tell us a little bit about your camp.
Well, I started my camp back in 2008. I actually started in my hometown in Alabama. And it's like Monroe mentioned, it's a free camp where we allow the kids to come in. They get free T-shirts. They get to learn from pro athletes, current, retired athletes, anybody, trainers that are really good at what they do. Kids come in, it's free of charge. All I have to do is sign up. And, we've been doing it ever since 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And, it's something I look forward to every year. It's just my way of giving back and teaching the game. And guys come from all over the United States to come and help us out. So it's an excellent opportunity for people to come out and just learn from the best, have fun, and, just have a great time.
Dr. Matthew?
I think that's a really good thing to have. I think I maybe bring my little boy to that camp.
Please do.
Because my little boy, well, he probably, because he's only 4. No, he's 5. So it's
okay.
Area. My little nephew, he's one of the star running backs for Wheatley High School, Trayvon Neal, and his dad does the little Fifth Ward Wildcats that they do in Fifth Ward, and he trains kids too. You know what I'm talking about?
I heard of those, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a real big fan of that, especially with molding these kids in order for them to be successful, in order to give them that drive and give them that sense of hope that, hey, you can do better. Right. You have the support from us to help you. And I think that's a good idea. Would you all open it up for foster kids too?
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned that. Actually, I have. See, look, I'm about to log off from this this whole thing. Well, I don't know what's going on right here. No, but that's good. You from Alabama?
I am. My family's from Tuscaloosa.
Okay, all right. We from Tuscaloosa. But as you were saying, opening up to foster kids, man, absolutely. You know, those are the things that we want to do. We want to make sure that whoever wants to play the game and that's you know, they want to do it, they're going to commit to doing it. We're going to do everything we do to help you, and we're going to make sure that, you know, I want to give a shout out to everybody that helps me out, all the coaches. Everybody's super committed, and they want to make sure that these guys are learning. You know, winning at the youth level is fun, it's happy, it's great. Kids like to win, but we value more in teaching these kids how to live the right way and how to play the game the right way. So absolutely, foster kids, anybody that's willing to come out and put the time in and commit to what we're doing, we're ready. We're ready to commit to them.
Well, I would definitely need to get that information so I can send other providers that have, you know, children that are in foster care, so they can also come out. But my little boy with his bad butt, yeah, I'm bringing. Y'all gotta work him out.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
Elvante?
I don't have any questions. I'm gonna keep my commentary to myself right now.
I think you're in your feelings.
That's what it is.
I think he's in his feelings.
The last time I checked, Alabama has more championships than Auburn.
I'm just trying to figure out who won the Iron Bowl this year.
Alabama.
What happened?
In the Iron Bowl.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Who won the Iron Bowl this year?
Yeah, you can go ahead and tell them. Say the audience.
I don't recall. I think it was fire or something like that. I don't really remember.
Well, I was there. I was there, so I kind of remember who won.
I think the games that truly matter are the champions.
There you go. Yeah, the 37 championships y'all won when y'all claiming.
Here we go.
So
here we go.
I'm just saying, you know, we're the best team in Alabama, so you can't take that from the side.
I beg to differ. We'll be here all night talking about this, Monroe. So y'all got
we right because but the best little league team happens to be in Fort Bend. The best little league team in Texas happen to be in Fort Bend.
Okay.
The best team in Alabama just happen to be the Crimson Tide. We just call it even with that, right? All right.
It's kind of hard for me to argue with you on that.
All right.
So let me ask you a question, Spence. I know you play in Fort Bend Youth Football League.
Yep.
And who the rivalry? Who's the rivalry team?
That'll be everybody, Monroe. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody who steps out there is our enemy when we play. You know, and I teach the kids, and let me go back and I don't want to be contradicting myself, but I teach the kids when you are competing, you compete at a high level to win. You compete for your guys that you put the work in. And don't get me wrong, Monroe mentioned the training that we do. We put the kids through a whole lot, you know, as far as training. You know, and like some people be like, well, it's just little league is this, but that builds that brotherhood with those kids when they go through a lot, when they run a lot, when they are doing the extra work. So when we play each other, everybody, and we play the opponent, everybody that we play, you know, we go out to win, we go out to dominate. So that's what we teach our young men.
I don't know if you're in rebuilding. I try to keep up with you, but I know that team that I was out there, I actually helped him, you know, when they were Fresno Gators. So I had an opportunity to work with a lot of the kids that he just finished coaching his last day senior team. And I think that your son KK, Deuce, I think this was their last year. Am I correct?
Yeah, correct.
So that means we in rebuilding mode, I think.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So how is that looking for you?
You know, with everything that happened, man, it's kind of tough to tell because we haven't had any face-to-face. But I'm looking forward to the challenge. I took these kids when they were 5, 6 years old, and like I said, you helped me, and you've seen how we build them from the ground up. And I'm looking forward to that challenge of taking a whole nother group and doing the same thing. So we definitely in a rebuilding stage on some levels, but like I said, I got great people around me, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
All right. Well, we're gonna stir up some drama.
Okay.
You know, regardless of the pandemic right now, we got to play football in college football next year. And I really think, Elvante, that they done figured out old Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide, because y'all having some problems over there, man. You're having some problems. And if I'm correct,
problems with who?
You have
that's fine. That's another story. Go ahead. What's that, Monroe?
You had some problems last year, Alvante.
What? Our quarterback getting hurt?
Did you win a championship last year?
Our quarterback got hurt. Like, what do you mean?
Did you win the Iron Bowl? Did you play for a championship last year?
No, we did not.
Okay.
And I think at the way Nick Saban thinks, because great coaches think like that, when that doesn't happen, that's like we didn't accomplish anything.
That's facts. That's what champions do.
And I think that right now that the Auburns and the Clemsons might just have a Crimson Tide number.
You're gonna put Auburn in the same boat as
we beat y'all all the time. Like we beat y'all all the time. Y'all get voted into the playoffs.
The last time y'all beat us, like
Was in November.
Y'all beat us is when we tried that field goal and y'all ran it back. That was the last time y'all
beat y'all last year.
No, when I say beat us, I mean beat us. Y'all didn't beat us last year. Y'all won the game, but you didn't beat us.
Oh God! Oh, whoa! What's the difference?
Beat us.
I think he living by. I think he living by that old Bear Bryant creed, because Bear used to say, "You don't lose a game, you just run out of time."
That's right. That's right.
But the clock struck 0 and y'all was behind.
We had more points.
How many more times have we had more points than y'all? A lot.
Well, look at the series from. I know we beat y'all six years in a row. Then y'all won a few. Then we beat y'all. So we probably got y'all. Probably the last 10 years, we definitely beat y'all more.
In the last 10 years, y'all beat us.
Absolutely.
Since 2010, y'all have more wins than we do.
Yes.
All right, I'm about to Google it right now.
You wouldn't have to Google it if you were an Alabama fan.
Let's even go back further. We can go all the way back to 2006, maybe.
Ooh. Okay.
Let me find out when the last time we beat y'all 6 in a row. I know we beat y'all 6 in a row. Just so you know, my record against Alabama is definitely a win. So
you come from a small town in Alabama,
right?
I even read articles on you from high school. You voted one of the greatest players to play high school football in the state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And were you highly recruited coming out of high school?
Yes, I was. I was recruited by pretty much everybody in the country, so it was a blessing to do so.
No, you wanted to stay close to home?
Yeah. I took visits to different places. I went down to Florida. I went to LSU, and being and coming from Alabama and growing up, and I'm reluctant to actually admit this, but growing up, I was an Alabama fan because that's what we knew growing up, and they were winning, the Derrick Lassicks and those guys like that. But those two were always top of my list, Auburn and Alabama. But just having the opportunity to travel and get on the plane for the first time as a high school kid and go to different places and visit and be recruited, man, it was a great opportunity and a great chance for me to do something that nobody in my family ever had. So, but when it came down to it, at the end of recruiting, I didn't make my decision, and just it felt more like home going to Auburn. Tommy Tuberville came to my house, ate dinner with me. I got recruited by Alabama first, but it just felt more like home on the plains at Auburn. So that's pretty much why I picked it.
What advice would you give a kid that's going through the recruitment process?
First of all, I'll say enjoy it. Don't put too much stress on yourself. I know that it's, a lot of people put a lot of pressure on yourself for saying, hey, put your hand down, man. I'm talking right now, all right? Good information over there. Go ahead. What you got?
You said go back to when?
What I say, 2006, 2005?
Right. 2006, Auburn won. 2007, Auburn won. 2008, Alabama. 2009, Alabama. 2010, Auburn. 2011, Alabama. 2012, Alabama. 2013, Auburn. 2014, Alabama. 2015, Alabama. 2016, Alabama. 2017, Auburn. 2018, Alabama. 2019, Auburn. It looks like Alabama got y'all. That's what it looks like to me.
That's not 10 years though, so don't worry.
That was more than 10 years.
Well, we said 10. Anyway, back to the question. All right. That's nice. All right, that's all nice.
Okay.
All right, back to the question. What is advice I would give a kid that's going through the recruiting process right now? I would say enjoy it. I would say it's an excellent it's a blessing to be recruited and be wanted by a lot of people. And recruiting has changed so much from when I was being recruited until now. These kids on Twitter talking to the coaches and everything, but just enjoy, pray about your decision, make the best decision for not only for your athletic, but for your education also. Those would be the best thing you're doing. Just keep working, because once you get there, and you know this, once you get there on the campus and the coaches are not going to be the same coaches that recruited you. You was nice to me when you recruited me, but now you fussing and cussing at me. So just keep working, enjoy the process, pray about the decision that you're going to make, and when you get there, live with it. Work your butt off.
Elvante?
Well, I want to give you guys like a ESPN update. Alabama has the series 46 wins and only 37 losses with one tie. So Alabama
like the 40s.
All right, and that goes all the way back to the first time they played.
Well, y'all have Forrest Gump, so it don't count.
I just wanted to put that out there, Monroe, because I know y'all seem to be War Eagle fans over there. So I just wanted you to know the Crimson Tide can definitely hold their own.
Now it's not that I'm a War Eagle fan. I'm a sports fan, and I think that Alabama has access to some of the best athletes in the country. And a lot of times, I don't think that a true championship is gauged by you stacking a deck. A true championship is gauged by the likes of Clemson, who just recruits, or the likes of Auburn, who just recruits, and they get the middle of the ground athletes. And they just accomplish the goal. Alabama get the best of the best every year. So me, honestly, I'm glad when they get their ass kicked. Because with all that talent, you should never lose a game.
Right, they got a big budget, so I understand how they get the talent.
Well, let me ask you something from a parental perspective. Do you think? And I think that the good doctor can chime in when you answer a portion of this. You know what ran me out of Little League was parents.
Yeah.
I love the game. I love to teach the game. But I got sick of the parents. Even in youth sports, to high school, to college, some of these parents are just overbearing. And I think some of the fathers are more overbearing because they didn't accomplish anything athletically. And then they come out there and they want to be the coach. How you deal with that, man?
Man, first off, how I deal with the situation, and everybody say I'm just up front right off the bat. I get all the parents together. I tell the expectations of how we want to do things. Why are we here? And I'm up front. Hey, the coaches are here. They're donating their time, their money. They're doing all this stuff. Let us coach. If you have a problem, come to me and talk to me. So I'll try to be upfront and be honest with everybody and say, hey, look, we're really not going to tolerate this coaching from the sideline. You have the same opportunity that we have to go sign up, be a volunteer, take the test, pay the little money, whatever it is. And so if you want to coach, you have the opportunity to do so. But we don't want to. I try to just set the ground rules right off the bat. It sucks. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you get people that they don't care. They're going to say what they want to say. But we want to give everybody the opportunity. If you want to coach, you have the opportunity to do so. Let's do it the right way.
Good doctor.
Well, he better have that in place like that, because if you don't have no structure, they gonna come and run your whole program.
Yeah.
That's what happen. And then, just like Monroe, like you said, you have some parents who were not successful as being an athlete as a kid, and then they want to live their dream through their child, and then they want to run your program.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have maybe some of the moms that's coming through there with their kids, but then at the same time, you coming over there trying to pick up a man too. So it's
Yeah, they do that.
it's because see, let me tell y'all something. I've seen this when I've been to a couple of these little league games with, you know, some of my god kids and then some of my nieces and nephews. And so you would really think that okay, it's all about the kids. And then you got a mama running around here dressed like she going to the club off homestead. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, baby, this
Facts.
is why is you looking like this?
Right. That's facts.
Yeah, so you know, at the end of the day, you have to have, you know, your program and everything that's put in place because like my daughter plays volleyball and I'm gonna have a person I was actually scheduled a personal trainer for her now that this stuff that went down. So we kind of just like at a plateau. And then also she's on the dance team too. But I'm telling you, it's like you have to have a strict program in place because if not, your program is not going to flourish and it's not going to succeed. And you have to have boundaries. So
Right.
do you have boundaries on how your female parents need to be dressed when they come out there?
Oh, absolutely, man. We operate off of respect, you know, and that's one of the things I teach the kids. And as I talk to the parents and I talk to the people around them, we gotta respect each other, you know. And I can't have you out here because you know we do got these kids out here that are turning being teenagers and 12 and 11 years old, and they're looking also, but we don't want anybody walking around disrespecting each other. And we really push a family atmosphere. We're more of a family than we are just a group of people getting together. We're a family, so you know, if you want to walk around your mom like that, don't do it. Don't do it around us. And my wife, she's right here too, so she can attest to all of this that we're talking about. Mo, say something.
Hey everyone, I'm just listening. So.
Hey, yeah, because I know it's crazy, especially I know for sure, like when y'all bring like these other pro players that's coming through, some of these women is looking at a gold mine here. You know what I mean?
Nothing going
They
on.
go to the strip club and everything. It's good that y'all got stuff in place because you know they be trying to look for come ups.
Right. So
Well, I know me. I was never blessed to have a son, so I coach my nephews. And my thing was is my nephew told a story on Facebook about a year ago, and I'm gonna show you how I am as a coach. And I had a rule that you could never be late for practice. So he called me and he said, you know, Uncle, I ain't got no way to practice. Can I ride with you? And I say, sure, you can ride with me. And we got to practice. I think we were 5 minutes late because of traffic. So when I get to the field, they already knew if they were standing around and I walked out and I got out the car and I walked to the field, if I beat them to the field, they had to run. So they ran, they got to the field, and I started calling his name. And he was like, what's the problem? I say, you late for practice. He say, man, I rode with you. I say, it ain't my responsibility to get you here. You supposed to be here on time. So, you know, my kids, honestly, when I ran my program, I had a rule and I made the parents understand. When they would drop them off, they thought I was the craziest coach in the world. I say, man, my job is to make you hate my guts in August. But you're going to love me in December. You're going to love me in December. You actually could not touch a football on my team for the first month of practice. You were not worthy enough to touch the football. You had to earn that. Oh, well, I want to wear number 5. I want to wear number 6. Don't have a problem with that. Earn your number. I'm not giving you anything as a coach. And I'm blessed. I've had kids that went through the whole process and ended up playing pro ball. You know, because I gave it to them the right way. We would have tournaments. God bless Chad Johnson. You know, used to play for Cincinnati, would fly my kids out to different tournaments and different things. And even back then at, 9, 10 years old, they were required to get on the plane or get on the bus with slacks and a shirt on, with a tie. And I'm like, I got to put you in the mind frame of what you need to be in the mind frame of from day one. But I know this guy personally. I know his wife. I know the hard work and that they put into this organization. And I'm proud to call him my friend. I see what he's doing, and champions teach kids how to become champions. That's something my coach taught me. You can't teach somebody something you don't know.
Right.
You can't teach them something you don't know. You can't teach a kid hard work. You know, and kids look at me, man, did you really play on the offensive line? Only 5'4"? Yeah, and I can show you some cats that made it to pro football. I used to eat their lunch up every day. The only thing stopping me was my height. So academic side, I see the Seahawks on top of it. You know, the character side. They build great character with their kids. You know, I never hear of a youth player from that organization getting caught up in nothing. You know, because see on the screen, if you can see the screen, that little scrolling thing at the bottom, that's what I would teach my kids. When you get to college and your name come across that screen at the bottom on ESPN, something ain't right. Your name don't need to be at the bottom of that screen. You see what I'm saying? Or you're going to have some problems. So if you start teaching them not just the game, but every aspect of the game, from the youth league all the way up to pro football, I think if they're lucky enough, because less than 1% make it to the pros.
Right.
If they're lucky enough to make it, I think they're gonna understand and they're gonna be successful. You know, I know that you guys are successful. What advice would you give a kid, or no, not a kid, but a player that's about to retire? You know, they wasn't doing smart things with their money while they were in the league. What advice could you give them knowing that they're about to retire?
You know, it's tough, you know, when you retire, just when the game ends, right? You know, when you play something your whole life, you've been great at it, you know, that's basketball, whatever it is, and then you know that it's coming to an end, you know, so it's tough, you know, and a lot of guys, you know, that I played with, that I've seen in the past, they never thought about that part, the retirement, you know, and at the end of the day, you're going to be retired more than you play. But when you're in that life and you're making money and you're playing, you never think about it ending. I mean, you know, but if it's there, you know, if you know it's coming, and I'll even go back, Monroe, and say, you know, when you get into that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year, when you get into the league, you need to start preparing for that. You know, you need to enjoy it because it's a blessing, but you need to start preparing for that. But if I will always give advice for people to make sure that you know about your own money, you know about what your money being invested in, know about you know, why your money's here, why you're there, investing your 401k, do the things and take advantage of the opportunities that the league and everybody giving you to make sure you take care of your money. And then when you get done, now it's just more about you just watching it grow, making sure that you're preparing things for your family, you know, your kids, making sure they have you know, the college funds and everything. So you know, just and getting with good people, you know, because one thing I have seen, and it's been more personal than anything, is just seeing that these guys getting taken advantage of for their funds. But there's a lot of guys out here that are getting into the financial advisor business, and they're taking these guys, and because they don't know about their money, they're taking their money and they're doing other things with them, and these guys are ending up losing large sums of money. And then, you know, a lot of people look at us and be like, hey, man, you made $30-40 million. Man, how you broke? How you do this? And it's not the fact that these guys are buying $1 million cars. It's the fact that these people are taking advantage of them, and so they're losing large sums of money at one time. So there's guys losing 5 million, 4 million, 3 million.
Well, you know what, and I think Avante and Candace, y'all can chime in on this. You know, the one thing I never understood. Okay, you've been broke all your life. You're playing the game you love to play.
Mm-hmm.
Now you made it. You got this big money contract. Why you need this man to tell you what to do with your money? If all you ever did was just put it in the bank and save it, why I need you to tell me that I need to invest in this and I need to invest in that? I never understood that. When I saw Tim Duncan I think they hit Tim for about 20 million.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, how does that happen when you know, okay, I signed this, and a lot of guys think when they sign $100 million contract, they get $100 million. That's not true. Mr. IRS is knocking on your door for the ink can dry on the contract. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna pay that before you pay anything. Then on top of that, if you got this entourage hanging around you, then here we go. You're gonna spend. That's how Iverson got caught up. You had too many people in your circle. I think Rashard Lewis' mom did something with him when he first got his big contract. She told him you could have one car. One. You don't need 5 cars. You can't drive but one at one time. You're gonna get one house. And that was it. She put restrictions on him. So this is for Mo. You married to the ex-pro football player. And we already know when we married who really controls the bank accounts. Now, I know these men out there might get mad when I say that. How did you slow Spence down? Being a country boy, now he playing NFL ball, and he had them urges. I know my friend had a couple of urges here and there to really splurge. How did you slow that down, Mo?
You know what? I think our situation was a little unique that we've known each other since the 6th grade. So we kind of went into that, and we've been boyfriend, girlfriend since the 9th grade. So we kind of went into that whole life with a completely different foundation than most people do. Most people find who they're with after they get the money. So they're already being someone who they probably are not and falling in love with the other person is falling in love with the person that they, are now and now who they've been their whole life. So that really helped us a lot in me knowing who he was and him knowing who I was before money even came in the picture. So and I guess we were just both blessed that neither one of us was really the type that liked to show off things or more low key, didn't care who knew. Most people would run up to you knowing, but we never advocated that, I'm an NFL wife or he plays in the NFL. So that helped us a lot. It's just a really tough situation with these guys. I mean, me being on the outside looking in from a different perspective, I think if we wait till they sign the contract to teach them about money, it's too late. So I think financial literacy needs to start super early. Like we did, our son KK did a financial literacy class in 5th grade. So he already experienced, deposits and savings accounts and interest on loans and credit cards and that stuff we didn't have. So we had to learn it, on the fly. But if you teach them that their entire life and it's a part of who they are, once they get money, it won't be an issue with them of splurging and spending on stuff they know don't have value. So I think that's what a lot of the guys run into. They don't have money their whole lives. And if you give somebody something, they just want the stuff they never had. They want a big house. They want a nice car. And it's not to just, it's just because they don't know any better. And it's because they just want, the things that they feel like they work so hard for, not understanding that this is so temporary and it can end at any moment. So you want to plan the whole while you're making money so that you're set when you're not. So
Elvante and Candace?
Well, I believe that most of our star athletes, you might can tell me if I'm wrong, but at a young age, a lot of them get handlers. They're not really with their parents ever. They've been taken away from their parents. And when they got taken away and that handler was there handling them, they took advantage of them from an early age period. So now when they're in the league, they're 18, 19 years old. They're still looked at as a minor to most people. So they still can't get in these 21 and up clubs. It happens in the NBA all the time where, you have, let's use Tyreek Evans, for example. When he first got in the league, he couldn't go into a 21 and up club, but he was there and you couldn't take pictures of him because of the handler knew that he would get in a deep shit if, he got caught in the club. So for a lot of these guys, they just don't have a clue. They don't know how to make money work for them. They don't have a clue. They never had it. And I'll put it this way. They have had it because their handler would take care of most of those expenses, thinking that, oh yeah, I got me a brand new car. I'm a senior in high school or I'm a college player and I got all this because their handler want all that money back. And see, that's what people fail to understand. They've been misused for so long and they're so much in debt. They probably $1 million in debt before they even make it to the league. Right. So when they're taking their money, they don't know when, okay, I paid all that debt back. They don't know when the debt stopped. So it just continued to now it gets to a point where you 33 million in the hole because the handler took all your money because you didn't know that you already paid him back double time. So I think for us as parents, we have to understand who we giving our kids to for athletic purposes. Because a lot of times you let them move to Jersey to play basketball, but not realizing this man and gave my child a whole bunch of stuff that he'd never be able to pay him back for. So
Right.
it's like the music industry, except it's athletics.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I agree with that. Well,
I agree with you. I mean, because I dealt with music, and I always tell people that I never wanted to be Scarface. I never wanted to be, I never wanted to be Biggie Smalls or Tupac. I wanted to be Suge Knight, James Prince, and Puffy Combs. I wanted to run the label. You see what I'm saying? So when I taught myself how to read my contracts, I became a threat to major labels when they would sit down and talk to me because they couldn't run game on me because I knew what I wanted. And I think a lot of guys that go pro, they just sign the contracts. And they don't understand what they be signing some days.
Right.
You got to understand when you in pro football, pro baseball, whatever, you have to know about your money or you will end up broke.
Absolutely.
At an average age, the life expectancy of a football player is about what, 5 years, Spence?
Nah, 2.5. 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. So 3 years after you get in the league, you out. You know what you gonna do? A lot of these guys, if they blessed, they don't even finish college. If they that good, they don't finish college. Some never go back and complete the degrees.
Cool.
I remember when Penny Hardaway was trying to decide whether or not to come out of Memphis, and he talked to everybody, and then he finally had a conversation with Magic Johnson, and Magic told him, he said, "Man, should I go? Should I stay?" He like, "Man, go, but go back and get your degree because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it when you retire,
Right?
And you got to transition into something else."
That's what that is. You go in and they don't even prepare for the end game. And so, like, as far as from a woman's standpoint, right? It's this is a beautiful thing that I'm seeing right now that you guys knew each other since 6th grade. Then on top of that, y'all dated, y'all already had a foundation prior to you going to the NFL. You see what I'm saying? Because them skanks is out on the loose right when they know you got a contract.
Now Spence played at the highest level on every level. A legend in high school, University of Auburn. And I'm gonna tell you, Candace, you call them skanks, I call them season hoes. I'm gonna tell you why I call them that. And I need people to think about it. Because when it's football season, they looking at the football players. When football season over, they going to the basketball players.
But then the cool thing about it, when in their hotel rooms, they know how to get in there to get to the hotel room. So this is my thing. Let's get the real tea. Okay, so when you and your wife were y'all together and all this kind of stuff, they had the skanks all in the mix. How did y'all handle that? You know what I mean? Because that right there will make or break a relationship. How did y'all handle that?
The truth for me is ignorance was bliss. It really was. Like, we grew up together, so from a small town, I honestly, God never really, I was like, he loved me, I love him, so we good. And I really never thought about until, I really got a little older and would see the lengths that the women would go to do all this stuff. And when I found that out, I was like, God had me in a little bubble because I'm really strong-minded and I really feel like, I can hold my own. So I don't know how well I would have did with thinking about that part of it, all the time. So it was never an issue when I was there. So I never really had any reasons to think. But when I saw how creative guys get to do whatever they want to do, it do make you think like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? But I'm serious. My ignorance about all of that really protected me through that first little phase because it just, I didn't think women or men would really do that. Like, I really thought that was like on the movies or something. I really didn't think they would be waiting outside the bus and the gate and all that, but they absolutely do. And it goes on a lot, and you see a lot of heartbreak, and you see a lot of people that had good marriages and situations and jeopardize it all for a few minutes and they pay for it at the end, but you just have to stay prayed up and believe in what you got with that person and know that it's bigger than the sport that they're playing.
And you know what? And I definitely commend you with that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I couldn't be married to a pro ball player because baby, I would be all up in the bitch face. I'm going to all the games. Yeah, we going in the hotel together. Yes, we are.
Man, you know the rules of the stripping game, partner.
Can I say something?
Fuck all
Okay. As far as me and my outlook on that, it was a lot of people don't know. I did play 9 years in the NFL, but when I came in, I was an undrafted free agent. So everything that I did was about me making the team. It was about me being an asset to the team. So I had time. My time was focused on being good in the playbook, doing what I need to do to take care of my body, and those things do go on. But as far as the hotel, when we go to the hotel in different cities or whatever, man, we got curfews, we got security that's on our level and everything like that.
But right through that. But
and you're right. People can do what they want to do. But if for me, it was a job. It was a job. I love playing football, but I couldn't fail. And when I got to the league, I was already at the bottom of the barrel, and guys were first round picks, and every year there's another first round pick to come in. So for me, it was about me proving to myself that I belong there. It was about me proving to myself that I'm going to be an asset to the team and doing something that I know that nobody in my family has done before. So I was not only playing for myself, I was playing for my family and just everything that I set out to do, because ever since I've been a kid, that's what I wanted to do. And I couldn't allow something so petty to keep me from doing so. So I had to stay focused and, doing that. And I've seen guys that have been in the league that were drafted, that supposed to have long careers, throw a lot of stuff away, but off of little stuff like that. So for me, it was about getting it done.
Because I respect that, because I'm going to tell you right now, when I was in college, I had a couple pro football players that wanted to date, and I wasn't trying to hear none of that shit. Because guess what? I'm one of the ones that'll show up at your door. What?
let me ask you this here. We're gonna talk about this one last subject.
Okay.
And I want your honest opinion. The Houston Texans, Bill O'Brien, DeAndre Hopkins.
Thing ever.
I think Belichick then paid the man to come over here and destroy the whole organization.
The evil genius, huh?
I don't understand that move.
I don't think none of us will. I don't think if you can think about it for 200 years, you would never understand it. Only thing I can see from that man, it was something personal. It was, hey, look, I'm the big dog around here, and if you don't want to fall in line, you got to go. And because it's nothing. D Hop didn't get in trouble. He was great.
Never got in trouble.
He was great in the community. It was a swinging dick contest, and Bill O'Brien tried to prove that he did it. And the crazy thing about it, guys get traded all the time behind stuff that inside the organization. But if you're gonna trade a guy of that caliber, get something for him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't trade one of the top receivers in the league and don't even get a first round pick. That's ridiculous.
I know that. I love Stephon Diggs. He was over there where you was.
Way with the Bills now, Minnesota.
You see what I'm saying? He was in Minnesota. Yeah. But they got more for Stephon Diggs than the Texans got for DeAndre Hopkins.
That was a great trade for Minnesota. I mean, they got a first round pick, and they got a bunch of picks, man. They high picks, not low picks. So I mean, that's how you're supposed to trade your top receiver. And the crazy thing with Houston is, you traded away your number one receiver. Who's going to step into that slot?
Now, I'm going to tell you this here, because unless you played in Minnesota, New Orleans, and some markets that are small markets where eventually these fans get tired, I think the Texans are taken for granted that they don't believe that people will stop coming to them damn games.
Well, that's the only way to get some change.
Because I remember when New Orleans had them people sitting in the stands with them bags on their heads.
Yeah, true.
I remember the Bills struggling before the Kelly era, in the Thurman era, where nobody was trying to come to them games, man. And I just think that move to do Hopkins, to move him, you have every right to trade him if you want to trade him, but get fair value for him.
Absolutely.
This is a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, and you got what, a second round, a second or third round pick?
Man, they got a 4th round pick and a 2nd round pick, and then they got. But the 4th round pick is maybe next year. So
well, I don't worry about the Texans because I tell anybody I never got over the Oilers leaving. So I'm a Houston Oilers fan. I will never be a Texan fan. I can't do it. I can't.
No, I'm a Texan fan, but I'm not gonna be going to the games because see, they always end up going to the playoffs and then they ass lose right then and there. See, I think that shit is set up. You know what I'm saying?
I think as a fan and as a player, you go into every season optimistic.
Absolutely.
That you are going to go as far as you can go.
Super Bowl.
If you are a Texan fan, you better pray to God you win 8 games because you ain't going nowhere near the AFC Championship
That's how we feel about
It's
Auburn.
not going to happen.
Nowhere near that.
There you go.
It's not going to happen. And that's sad to know as a fan that your team is basically done before the season starts. It's sad to know, but guess what? They gonna still be out there tailgating, spending all their money, and McNair ain't gonna never respect the fans with a move like that. I can't understand it. But I will tell y'all this: Houston sports organizations have done this forever. They have no respect for their stars. Elijah Wan should have retired a Rocket. Nolan Ryan should have retired an Astro. Oh, he washed up. He old. They trade him to the Texas Rangers. He go throw 2 no-hitters.
Right.
Earl Campbell should have retired in Orla. You let him retire in a New Orleans Saints uniform. So they do this all the time. But me, that's y'all problem, Texan fans. I'm not a Texan fan. I'm a Houston Oilers fan. And ain't gonna never be a Texan fan. And I think y'all can chime in here, good Dr. Neil Ponte. Last question, Spence. If you worked for an owner, if you were a football player and the owner made a comment about the inmates, what would you have done? Huh?
Hey, that is very, very tough.
I think that's what got Hopkins traded.
You think so?
I think when he took that stance, they came back to get him for that one.
You think so?
I think he was black, he was strong, he wasn't putting up with it.
Right. He made great comments about that, man. And it wasn't nothing that was say malicious. He spoke up, and that was a great thing, And I think with the social media platforms that give those guys that power to speak up, and him being such a respected player in the locker room and in the city of Houston, it was good that he did that. But if I was in that situation and I did that, man, and it's tough for a lot of guys, because a lot of guys ain't DeAndre Hopkins. A lot of guys ain't the top receiver in the league that can do that. So, I'm pretty sure they would have got the media guy to come through and say, hey, look, you just say this, say no comment, keep it to this and say that. But with me playing, man, and I'll tell you this, and this is the God's honest truth. It depends on your status within that organization for how much you can say. D. Hopkins was one of the guys that could say that. Deshaun Watson can say stuff like that. J.J. Watt could, but he would never. But so it really depends on how you come in, what you're doing, because to cut a guy that's an undrafted free agent that speak up and say this, that's easy for them to do. That's easy for them to do. But because D Hop said that, you can't do it right then. You can't do anything right then to him. So that's a very sensitive situation, man. And that's just being honest.
Well, Hopkins will definitely be missed.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, his sister played in the girls' league,
really?
And I think she had better hands than him. It just runs in the family. But I think the Texans have a lot to look at. They're going to struggle this year. This is not going to be as good as they think. And Candace and Elvante, when his contract is up, do you think Deshaun stays or he goes?
He gone. Well, I'll put it this way. I think the owner's gonna have to make a decision. O'Brien or Watson, one of them is gonna leave. Simple as that. I don't believe you keep both of them together at this point. I believe that Deshaun is really going to go to the Patriots. To be honest with you,
That's been the talk. I've seen that. Now, if O'Brien and Watson not together, I mean, they're not on the same page, which I can't see how they are right now. He definitely goes. I don't think, honestly, because in my opinion, I don't even think O'Brien wanted Watson in the beginning. I don't even think he wanted to draft him. So
the Texans don't play black quarterback. We all know that.
So when it comes up and the money that he's going to demand, for them to pay him, he's going to demand about 40 something a year if he has another good year this year. So it's going to be, hey, who's willing to pay that at that point? And if him and O'Brien is not on the same page, I'm bouncing to it from him because we all know he can play. We all know he's a great quarterback. So
I think they need to revisit the Rooney Rule. I think Eric Bieniemy should have been a head coach this offseason.
True.
No question, Bieniemy should have. And if y'all don't know who Eric Bieniemy is, he's the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. I played with
this boy called his ice water.
When I was in Minnesota, man, he was the running back coach with Adrian Peterson, man. He's a great guy, man. Knows his stuff. Excellent guy. Really good guy. Great running back.
Well, and I've been following Bieniemy since he was at Colorado.
Adrian Peterson, the one who got in trouble in Montgomery County.
For what?
I don't think he got in trouble. I just think he whooped his kid ass with a switch, and that was that.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna tell you. It was a white mama. The kid got a white mama. So a black whooping and a white whooping are two different things.
And a whooping with a switch is old school.
And he was in the wrong county to do that.
I don't never think you're in the wrong county, Candace. I just think that when you a high profile athlete, they look for anything.
Well, they do, but I'm saying you would do this out of all counties, Montgomery County. This is a county that lock up state reps. This is a county that has a rocket docket. You think you about to get in there and your ass is going to jail and you ain't coming out. Okay,
well,
they locked up a TV personality. Okay,
well, let's get ready to close it out.
Oh boy,
we're gonna close it out. We're gonna have some final statements. Spence, tell the people how they can hook up with you, especially with your Seahawks, one of the best youth football programs in the country. I saw it built from the ground up. So to years later, and you know what, Elvante, that old boy from Alabama, even in youth football, won a championship his first year.
Oh, Monroe, you messy.
I love it. I love it. Hey, even Nick Saban didn't do that.
North area, you're gonna open something up on this side.
That would be. Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Oh man, y'all got a stain on it. It's a stain on your screen. What's that?
That's from the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, hey, that's old stain. What kind of stain is that, man? Y'all wash that screen off. What's up, buddy?
Man, I know you're an Auburn guy, and I know you might be connected or had conversation because you know a lot of them dudes. How's Cam holding up right now?
He's just working, man. Working and getting ready. So whenever get his name called, and he's gonna be ready. The injuries really stuck for him, man. But he did a great job in Carolina. So whenever he called, he's gonna be ready to go. I follow him on Instagram.
I think when Cam Newton is not hurt, he's top 5.
Oh, absolutely.
He's top 5, man. And he has the perfect body for a quarterback.
Oh man, yeah. You ever seen him in person?
And I'm gonna tell you this here. I like you. I love youth sports. So I watch the players in youth sports. I want y'all to remember these 2 kids. I'm saying it right now. And I'm gonna tell you something. I met a kid at a tournament in Miami. He was 11 years old when I met him. He played on my team. He came from California because California and Texas played on the same team. Before the kid got ready to get on the plane to go back to Compton, California, he thanked me for everything we went through that week. And I told him, son, if you keep your grades right and you do what you're supposed to do, you will play on Sundays. Years later, that kid went to the University of Oregon. DeAndre, and if they know who, before Kobe started calling himself the Black Mamba, he was the Black Mamba in Los Angeles, California. He was the Black Mamba, and he now plays in NFL. So these two kids from this program that Spence runs, I've never seen a quarterback as smart as Spencer Johnson's son. And it's another kid, Deuce, say, man, to me the second coming of Derrick Henry. And he's been like that since he was 5 years old. I'm talking about the one that's playing for the Titans, not the one that playing for Alabama.
Oh, I think you're talking about that Derrick Henry. Oh, okay.
So Spence, close it out. Give us some final words, you and Mo.
Like I say, first off, man, thank y'all for having me. I really enjoyed it, man. It was great meeting you guys, man. And I really appreciate you guys having me on. Appreciate this platform. Before my youth organization, Fort Bend Seahawks, our website is fbseahawks.com. You can register on there. You can read a little bit about what we do. Read about the mission statement, the things that we've done around the community and stuff. So that's fbseahawks.com. Fort Bend Seahawks at Fort Bend Seahawks. That's our Instagram account. So we put pictures up about kids that are doing things, and so that's another way to get in contact with us. But like I said, I appreciate you guys having me, man. It was a blessing to be on, and I'll let Mo say what she get to say.
Oh, well, not much. But yes, really enjoyed speaking and listening to you guys talk tonight. Spencer actually handles the athletic side of the program. I'm more of the academics, so tutoring. I'm the math and science nerd. So any kid that needs help with that, I give my time to help them any way I can. So that's just another part of our organization that we like to differ from others, that we're going to focus on the academics also. If they don't do the grades, they don't play. So just reach out to us. Like I said, go to our website. It has all our information there. You can reach out to me and I'll get you everything you need.
Okay. I also shout out to Level 1 Fitness. We partner with Level 1 Fitness to do all our training with our athletes, whether they're playing with us. And the thing that I really I love about what we do, the guys, when they age out, we still stay in contact with them. When they get to high school, we still make sure they have places to work out. I'm in contact with a lot of college coaches. Some of my best friends are D coordinators at major SEC schools, linebacker coaches, and I know a lot of guys that are coaching. So when these kids get ready to get recruited, I'll be a source of where the coaches can come to. A lot of coaches already know about kids. So, and I really pride myself on, like Monroe said about the guy going to the NFL, is getting these kids education. Free education. I know coming up, if I didn't get a scholarship, there was no way that I could have paid for college. So giving these kids the opportunity. Even right now, we're doing college tours. We went to Auburn University. We might think about going to Alabama. I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna waste my gas money going there, but just giving these kids the opportunity and getting them to see different things, because it's more about winning Little League games for us. So thank y'all for allowing us to get on here and say that. And like I said, fbseahawks.com. Check us out. We always answer the phone. We always answer our emails. So we're just looking forward to, when all this craziness in, getting back to work, getting back in these kids' lives and doing what we do.
Vontae, final words.
My final words is continue to stay safe, continue to stay in the house. Make sure you take care of yourself. Your kids need you. And number one, we appreciate you and your family doing above and beyond what you have to do, making sure that our kids have an outlet of support and make sure that they stay on the right track. So thank you guys for doing that. And as I always say, man, take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Dr. Matthews, final words.
Final word. First of all, thank you for what you all are doing.
Where's your mask?
I'm at home. I don't need it now.
Oh.
You got yours?
Yeah, I got all the stuff.
She got the mask.
Because, okay, first of all, I want to say this. Thank y'all for what y'all doing for the best interest of kids. I'm all about what's for the best interest of them. But I'm going to need y'all to put location on the north side of 1960 Champions area. Okay. So, but as far as with staying safe, um, I need to make sure that the people watching that if you're not able to stay in the house because you are a essential worker, make sure that you have your letter from your job, make sure you have your ID badge on you, make sure you have your gloves, make sure you have your barbicide if you don't have sanitizer, and make sure you have an N95 mask. And this is the one here. Okay, make sure you cover up
I don't
yourself.
got one of those.
Yeah, and really to be honest, where I got this at, this is the same mask that they use when you're getting your car painted. So
Mm,
go to one of the paint shop vendors to get your mask. See, everybody didn't know that. See,
I
I
didn't
got
know
it, so I can tell y'all now. So, but yeah, you just make sure that y'all stay safe and you know don't have people all these people coming to your house and things like that. Make sure you have a thermometer so you can make sure you check temperatures and things of that such, because again, you may have people that's coming to your house. They can be a family member that's close, but they can be a carrier of that virus. So just make sure that you be safe, cautious, protect your family, protect your kids.
Take the phone. Go.
And I'll close it out with this that Spence and Monique, they're very, very humble people. So you really don't know a lot of the things that they do. And I'll let folks know that one of the things that they're doing in the process of doing is they've adopted a park in Fort Bend. They've adopted a park. They're working with the county commissioners to revitalize this park. So I mean, you got a guy pouring his own money in, got the NFL coming in to help, wants to put turf fields out in the parks, different things like that. And I know we didn't get a chance last year, but they're the only organization that created a program, well, created an event, the Heroes of Houston, where they honor activists that do the groundwork, the real foot soldiers, and they've honored some great people. State Rep Ron Reynolds has actually won 2 awards from the Heroes of Houston. I got one. I mean, the first year I didn't make the program because that's when I got sick, and I made it the next year. But these are some really good people that really don't have to do what they're doing, but they do it because they have a love for children. Um, the conversation sports will continue tomorrow night because we will have 2 state recognized athletes from my old high school. Matter of fact, one young lady is valedictorian, the other one is Reuben Jones, highly ranked basketball player, was in the middle of a state championship run,
mm.
and they were actually on their way to the state tournament, and the bus had to be turned around from Jack A. Senior High, #1 ranked 4A basketball team in the state of Texas, highly ranked in the nation, and they had to turn that bus around. So we're gonna have them 2 kids on the show tomorrow night, and then Sunday we gonna do this here at 3 o'clock. I see these DJs, D Nice, and everybody doing what they do. Sunday at 3 o'clock, I'm gonna bring my homeboy, have him fire up the turntables virtually, and I want you to go to HEB and get you some crawfish, some corn, and some sausages, because we gonna have a Zydeco festival on the war zone at 3 o'clock. We going in Sunday at 3 o'clock, and then we'll do our regular show, and Sunday's just gonna be a free fall. We're just gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about. But thank you, Spencer and Monique, for what you do every single day. And I know those kids out there, they love it. And the parents appreciate you. And that's why you get such great support. But I tell y'all what, man, if you got the balls, you're welcome to come sit in the war zone. Because some nights we not this nice. We might just dig off in your chest. You know what I'm talking about?
Friday.
So tomorrow night, we going in again.
Thank you,
But
God.
tonight, I want to thank Spencer Johnson, Monique Johnson, and 8-time boxing champion Tommy Hitman Hearns for sitting in the war zone. I'm the 5-star general. My man Elvante Patton and the good doctor, Candace Matthews. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow, man.
God bless.
God bless.